Hello there, people of the internet. So this that I'm recording right now is actually like I just finished recording the end to this episode of Driving the Cougar. And I figured like this episode was just kind of spontaneous. Like it was one of those things that hey, I'm doing this, let's turn it into an episode. So the Cougar had some serious front end noise. Like she was being smacked around left, right. The tiniest bump sounded like the engine was going to fall out, right? So I brought it into the shop. All right, here we are. And we already have somebody playing on a four wheeler over there. Okay, let's see what's wrong with the Cougar. And the tie rod ends were completely shot to hell. I mean, whenever the tie rod ends go out, you lose your ability to steer your tires. So, yeah, the tie rod ends were shot. I pumped those full of grease, kind of brought them back to life. It took a couple of days to actually get the tie rod ends, which is why I pumped them full of grease to bring them back to life. After that, we did the sway bar bushings. The one on the driver's side was completely gone, which is probably why it sounded like I had, I don't know, the Tin Man crunched up in my engine bay every time I hit a bump. And the right side, the passenger side, was on the verge of falling apart as well, so I replaced them both. I also got the valve cover gaskets. In this particular day, I worked very diligently on the sway bar bushings and the tie rod ends. And the sway bar bushings gave us like a lot of difficulty because the bolts that were holding them in place were supposed to be fastened on one side to where you could just spin one side to pull the bolt. And the plastic that was holding the bolts in place broke, so we had to get like I was under the car. I had to get my father to get on top of the car, and we each had ratchets to hold one end of the bolt down. And that wouldn't have been so hard if the top bolt, which was originally encased in plastic and not supposed to be spinning, that was a specialized bolt. It had a bunch of, what would I call it? Like circular rivets on it, so we couldn't get just a regular ratchet on it. We tried like vice grips, we tried all sorts of stuff. We did eventually get it, but it was a nightmare in itself. And after we swapped out the sway bar bushings, we did the tie rod ends, which weren't nearly as bad as I thought it would be. The hardest part was smacking them out of place without smacking anything else. And then by that time it was like 6 o'clock at night, so we decided it was time for beer and relaxation. So I tossed the valve cover gasket into my back seat, and I figured I'd fix that and my steering rack, my power steering rack, which is falling apart and starting to leak. I figure I'll fix that at a later point in time as well. So that's kind of where this episode with the Cougar went. Like, I was going to the shop to fix these things anyway, and I decided to myself, hey, this would be really cool for an episode. So I went ahead and I fixed those things, recorded it all on my phone. This entire episode is recorded on my phone. And then I decided, well, you'll see what I decided, where I decided to go, and the testing I decided to do on the Cougar to see if it worked. Alright, so parts won't be here for a couple of days. And now I'm home again. Yep, that's my home. So I'm not driving anymore. So hey, it's time for some whiskey. Alright, new day. I just got done driving her about 100 or so miles. So she's pretty warm. I'm gonna let her cool down a little bit. We got our parts. I'm just gonna go ahead and start tackling this thing one little doohickey at a time. I did order some extra stuff too. I got some windshield wipers coming. I got the other bushing for the sway bar because why not? But besides that, we're gonna tear into her. I like this scene better. Without the radio playing, I can actually, record. And I'm the only one here right now, so I can actually talk comfortably. First thing I'm gonna do is probably change the oil in this thing. I want to go ahead and point this out. There's two little oil plugs on this thing. This one's kind of grody. I'll have to clean it off. But two little oil plugs, and you got to pull them both off. Otherwise, it doesn't drain all the oil. Alright, looking at what I have to work here with, these are actually really nice, especially for the price point I got them at. We got Sounds like an oil filter. Maybe. Nope, that is a bushing. I see, that's probably a sway bar bushing. The diagram threw me off. And here's our oil filter. I remembered it being larger, that's why this threw me off. Alright, one thing at a time. Because I feel like burning my hands like significantly, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the oil before the car cools down. Then I'll move on to the bushings. Now I can't remember what size I need to actually take off those oil drains. I'm pretty sure it's a 14. And this is my tool cart, completely untouched other than a couple of pounds of dust from back whenever I used to work here. Alright, maybe it's been a little touched. A tactical boomerang, I remember that. Back in the good old days. Yep, it's about as organized as I remember. Somewhere in here should be... I remember having a really nice ratchet. I called her Big Bertha. That's a pretty nice one. But she was a Duralast, and man, did she last and was she durable. Big Bertha, where are you at? Nope, I don't see her. Shame about that. No idea where she ran off to. If you don't have one of these oil catches and you have yourself a car lift, then you're doing something wrong. Alright, I got her loose. Let's see what we're dealing with. Maybe she's not as loose as I'd like. Yeah, she's loose, but I need her like ex-girlfriend status loose. Let's try this a little more. Ooh, wow. She's stiff in there. Wonder why the hell she's so stiff. You don't want your women stiff and you don't want your bolts stiff, that's for sure. Alright, what are we dealing with here? Well, there goes that. That's exactly what I was trying not to do. Ooh, that's warm. Actually, that kind of feels good. It's cold out here. Alright, oil's drained from both plugs. New filter's on. The old ring came off the old filter, so that's always a plus. No leaks there. Good news, no water in the oil. Bad news, the oil was flowing like water. So, no viscosity left. Or at least very little. We'll be getting some oil from this drum over here. 530 synthetic. It'll work for our purposes. Okay, didn't get the valve cover gasket in simply because we had some trouble with the sway bar bushings. But we got those in. Hopefully that fixes the issues that I've been having with the front end noise. We're about to find that out. I almost forgot my Gun Owners of America hat. That ain't gonna happen. This is my favorite hat. Camera's also gonna wobble because it's just my phone and I don't have my GoPro with me. This was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. Of course, she starts just fine. Okay. Pop her in gear, roll up this window so we don't have too much wind noise. See how she sounds. Well, I don't hear no cracking or crunching, and so far my tires haven't fallen off. Did I tighten those? Ah, well, I guess we'll find out on the road. Ooh, got somebody coming in hot here. Goddamn, dude, slow down. Alright, clear that way. Almost clear that way. I could make that if I wasn't concerned about the Cougar falling apart. Alright, here we go. See how this old girl handles. Camera right in front of the steering wheel. I don't hear no wobbling. I don't hear no creaking, no crunching. 45 miles an hour. Whee! Look at me go. Hell, if anything, she sure rides smoother, but that's to be expected with the bushings that we're missing. Won't know any certainty until we hit like a dirt road and I can really hear the things clanking around. But I am positive that it's got to be better than it was. Well, speed test went well. There was no flailing around, no like wobbling unnecessarily. And she sounds great, man. Ever since I redid those plugs and cleaned her out some, man, she sounds like a whole new car. She does shift a little early though, so I'm gonna keep her in third gear instead of swapping over to overdrive. You know, driving through here, I can't remember if I tightened down both of the drain bolts for the oil pan. I mean, I'd like to think so. Fingers crossed, at least. But so far, no rattling. At least I know if I gotta stick her up on jack stands for a while to replace the engine because, she had no oil in it. I know that nothing's gonna rattle while I do that. Man, the lighting on this phone is all over the place. Good God. Alright, here's our real test. Shifting great, sounding great. Man, feels like she's got more ass than she did. Maybe because I got everything lined up again. Good God. That was amazing. Slow her back down before we get to this main highway here. This is the actual test because we're going onto a dirt road here. See what she sounds like. Alright, normally I'd hear a lot of clanking, clicking, screaming. Oh yeah. Oh man, that front end noise is way gone. I guess it was that sway bar bushing. I didn't think it was because I thought that bushing had long since been gone, but I stand corrected. Man, she sounds like a whole new car. That's awesome. Alright. Now, just realizing how bad the headliner is. That'll probably be one of our next projects. On our next time of driving the Cougar. Wow, the Cougar sounds really good. Alright. Okay, so it's a few days later. The Cougar is fixed. I didn't feel like driving anywhere with how tired I was. So let's see if I can get the lighting a little better on this camera. No, not really. I guess that's as good as it's gonna get. Cougar's fixed. A couple days later, I didn't feel like driving anywhere, so today we're gonna drive somewhere. It's Saturday. I'm off. I figure, hey, why the hell not? Let's take a minute and drive up to my gun store. I think that'll be a good time. Alright, here we are. Best place in the world right here. I get the feeling these guys are going to be swamped today, so I'm probably going to be here for a couple of minutes. Alright, okay. New toys. Can't come to the gun store and not get some stuff. Originally I was going to get ammo, but I've been looking for a pocket gun for a while. So I did get some 30-06 actually for the M1 Garand. I'm gonna throw the stock factory gas system back in it and experience what it's actually supposed to be like, because I've only shot it with the upgraded gas system in it, other than the fact that I did shoot it with a little bit of commercial ammo back when I first got it with the factory gas system in it, and I want to see what it's like firing actual M1 Garand ammo through it with the actual gas system. I want to experience that. And for my pocket gun, I just picked up a Taurus. They had the G2C and the G3C on sale, so I grabbed a G2C because I like the sights better. The G3C, you can swap out the sights pretty easily because they take Glock sights, but the G2C has sights right from the factory that I like. Not only that, but the trigger on the 2C, much better in my opinion. Alright, it's hot in here. Let's start up the Cougar and start moving. For some reason, old Cougar ain't running too well. I might have to make a stop here. Alright, middle of nowhere gas station. Gas prices are not stated. That's a good sign. Alright, well, this episode of Driving the Cougar jumped around a lot, but hey, we got the Cougar fixed, or at least like some parts of it fixed. The important stuff that needed fixed was fixed. There was some stuff that we didn't fix because we didn't have the parts. The transmission bracket, or the cross member, we're still waiting on that, so that's probably going to be a different episode. Valve cover gaskets, we didn't fix those. Somebody's mowing the lawn outside. Valve cover gaskets, didn't fix those simply because we ran out of time. We mostly just went through and fixed all the bushing so the Cougar stopped beating itself to death. And then I drove it to the gun store and bought myself some really nice pieces that I've really been wanting for quite some time. I had to get rid of my 1911 a little while ago. 2020 was a hard year for everybody, and I had to get rid of a couple other things. But hey, that Taurus, perfect little pocket pistol, which is exactly what I was wanting, and I decided to get myself a 1911 as well. I kept that on layaway because whenever you get two handguns at the same time, it's reported to the ATF. So I got one handgun, put it on layaway, and then I'll go pick up the 1911 here in like a week or two. So that's kind of my plan on that. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like my whole Driving the Cougar series, then let me know down below. It will be absolutely amazing if this series takes off and people enjoy watching me fix the Cougar and work on it, keep the old girl running. That being said, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more. If you like the video, actually like the video, and check in the description for a bunch of links and social medias and gaming channel and all that kinds of stuff. You folks take care now.